In the summer of 1590, a ship arrived on the coast of what is now North Carolina. On board was John White, the governor of a small English colony he had left behind 3 years earlier to sail back to England for supplies. He had been gone longer than planned. A war between England and Spain had delayed his return by years. But now he was back, eager to reunite with the 115 men, women, and children he had left on Roanoke Island. When he reached the colony, it was empty. Every building had been dismantled. Every possession was gone. There were no bodies, no graves, no signs of struggle or attack. The settlement had been completely and deliberately abandoned, as if everyone had simply decided to leave, packed their things, and walked into the forest. The only clue was a single word, carved into a wooden post at the entrance to the settlement: Croatoan. That word and the 115 people who disappeared have never been fully explained. The lost colony of Roanoke remains one of the oldest and most enduring mysteries in American history. The story of Roanoke begins in 1584, when Sir Walter Raleigh, the English explorer and courtier, received a charter from Queen Elizabeth I to establish an English colony in the New World. 2 reconnaissance expeditions were sent first, returning with favorable reports, and 2 Native Americans named Manteo and Wanchese, who were brought to England and taught English to serve as interpreters. The first serious attempt at colonization arrived in 1585. A military expedition that established a fort on Roanoke Island. It struggled from the beginning. Relations with the local Croatoan and Secretan people deteriorated. Supplies ran low. When Francis Drake stopped by on his way back from raiding Spanish settlements, the colonists abandoned the fort and sailed home with him. A second attempt was made in 1587. This time with 115 civilian colonists, including families, intended to establish a permanent settlement. John White was appointed governor. Almost immediately, things went wrong. The colonists arrived later in the season than planned. Relations with local tribes were tense. Supplies were inadequate. White was persuaded by the colonists to sail back to England and return with more provisions as quickly as possible. He left in late 1587. He would not return for 3 years. When John White finally returned to Roanoke Island in August 1590, what he found, or rather, what he didn't find, has puzzled historians ever since. The settlement was gone. Not destroyed, not burned, gone. The buildings had been carefully dismantled. The heavy iron equipment and supplies had been removed. The palisade fence around the settlement had been strengthened, suggesting the colonists had time to prepare before they left. This was not a massacre. This was not a sudden catastrophe. Whatever happened, the colonists had time to pack. They chose to leave, or were moved deliberately and methodically. Before White had departed in 1587, he had agreed with the colonists on a signal. If they had to leave the settlement, they would carve their destination into a tree or post. If they were in distress, they would add a cross above the carving. White found the word Croatoan carved into a post. There was no cross. Croatoan was the name of an island approximately 50 miles to the south, and also the name of a friendly Native American tribe that lived there, led by a man named Manteo, who had traveled to England with the earlier expedition and maintained good relations with the English. White wanted to sail south to Croatoan Island immediately, but a storm was building. His ships were damaged. The crews refused to wait. They sailed back to England, and John White never returned to the New World. He died without ever knowing what happened to the colony, or to his daughter and granddaughter, who had been among those left behind. His granddaughter, Virginia Dare, had been the first English child born in the Americas. She was 3 years old when White last saw her. In the 4 centuries since, historians, archaeologists, and researchers have proposed numerous explanations for what happened to the Roanoke colonists. The most widely accepted theory today is that the colonists integrated with the Croatoan people, facing starvation and with no sign of White's return. They may have made the practical decision to leave the island and seek shelter with the one tribe they knew to be friendly. The carved word would support this. It was their agreed signal, used without the distress cross, suggesting a planned rather than forced departure. Archaeological evidence has offered some support for this theory. Excavations on Hatteras Island, the modern name for Croatoan Island, have turned up European artifacts mixed with Native American materials from roughly the right period. Copper forks, a signet ring. Items that suggest some contact or integration between the two cultures. A second theory suggests the colonists attempted to sail back to England on their own using a small vessel left at the settlement and were lost at sea. Given the conditions of 16th century ocean travel, this is entirely plausible. A third, darker theory involves the Powhatan Confederacy, the powerful tribal alliance to the north. Historical accounts suggest that Chief Powhatan later claimed to have destroyed a settlement of people who had been living with a southern tribe. Some researchers believe this referred to the Roanoke colonists who had been absorbed into the Croatoan people and later killed during intertribal conflict. None of these theories have been definitively proven. Archaeological work on Hatteras Island is ongoing. The full answer, if it exists, may still be buried in the soil of the Carolina coast, waiting for the right excavation to find it. What makes the Roanoke mystery different from most is its human specificity. These were not nameless victims or anonymous statistics. We know their names. We know John White's granddaughter was among them. We know that her father spent 3 years trying to get back to his family, delayed by war, by weather, by circumstance, and arrived to find them gone. We know someone carved that word into a post as their signal. We know he checked for the distress cross and didn't find one. We know he tried to sail south and couldn't. And we know he spent the rest of his life not knowing. The word Croatoan has become one of the most haunting single words in American history. Not because it answers the question, but because it suggests the colonists knew exactly where they were going, left a clear message, and then simply ceased to exist in the historical record. They walked into the American wilderness in 1590 and never walked out. Somewhere in the Carolinas, in the soil and the trees and the quiet archaeology of a coast that has been changing for 400 years, their story is still waiting to be finished. What do you think happened to them? Leave it in the comments. I read every one, law and shadow. The law runs deep.